a historic visit and homecoming of sorts for Myanmar's pro-democracy leader Aung San Suu Kyi, who's on a 6-day visit to India. Now, Suu Kyi is scheduled to meet the Prime Minister today at his residence and discuss political developments in her homeland, Myanmar. In New Delhi, she is also going to meet Vice President Hamid Ansari and visit the Indian Parliament to meet Lok Sabha Speaker Meera Kumar, followed by a visit to the Lady Shri Ram College, from where she had graduated with a degree in politics. Now, Suu Kyi has come to New Delhi after 40 long years. She says that she is here to reforge her links with India. Speaking exclusively to Headlines today, the Nobel laureate has said that she has no big expectations from India and has asked her countrymen to be responsible enough to shape the destiny of Myanmar.
I have with me the opposition leader of Myanmar, Aung San Suu Kyi, who's in India after a very, very long time. Ma'am, first of all, welcome to India, and what are your expectations as you're in New Delhi?
I don't think I have come with expectations as such. I have come because I want to come to India and I want to take the opportunity to reforge my links with India.
Ma'am, how do you see democracy in your country progressing at this point in time?
It's up to us to make it progress. I don't see it as progressing by itself. I think it progresses as far as the effort that we all put in.
Ma'am, what do you see India's role with regards to Myanmar, and do you feel in any way disappointed with India for its engagement with Myanmar at a time when the junta was in power?
I don't feel disappointment in particular because I don't think we have the right to expect others any more than we have the right to expect of ourselves. So if we want to expect from others, we have to work hard ourselves. And in any case, I think we are responsible for the destiny of our own country. And of course, we expect our friends to help us to achieve our aspirations, but basically the responsibility is ours.
Now, Suu Kyi, before beginning her talks with the Indian authorities, has expressed her concerns about India's approach to engage with the Myanmar government. In an interview to an Indian daily, the Myanmarese opposition leader has said that she is saddened by India's decision to engage with the military junta. She said rather than disappointment, sad is the word, because she has personal attachment with India because of a closeness that existed between the two nations. All right, it's of course a little bit of a tricky issue. Where does India really balance its interests, strategic versus, of course, historic ties with Myanmar and, of course, the democratic government of Myanmar? Maha Siddiqui now joins us for more on this story. Maha, what I would like to know from you is, what does India do? It's a very delicate situation, you know, because we saw her meeting with the Prime Minister also in Yangon a few months ago. She is upset, sad, yes, that's the word, with the way India behaves with the new junta. But what can India do? China's influence is there. The world is descending on Myanmar. India can't afford to miss the bus. How can we explain this to the democratic forces there?
Well, absolutely, Akash. It was a tightrope walk for India. India's views on democracy have always been clear. But what the people in the External Affairs Ministry, also former diplomats, tell us is that at that point in time, India had no option but to engage with the present power over there, and that's what India chose to do, because there were issues between the two countries that required settling, and if you do not engage with the present people in power, then what do you do about issues like that? So clearly they had to engage with the junta. However, India has never backtracked on its views on democracy, and that is why we are seeing Aung San Suu Kyi coming to India on an invitation ostensibly by UPA chairperson Sonia Gandhi, but clearly the political class here, the Prime Minister, everybody using this opportunity to speak with Aung San Suu Kyi because they recognize the fact that she is hugely popular in her country. Also, perhaps a recognition of the fact, Akash, after the by-election was swept by her party, India perhaps also does realize that the chances of her party coming to power in 2015 are very high, and therefore this sort of an engagement, a parallel engagement, is also necessary.
Is Suu Kyi worried about this sort of credence that is coming into the junta, or let's say, let's be honest about it, military-backed civilian government? Because I remember the Foreign Secretary, when I asked him the question, he said, we don't comment on Myanmar's internal matters. Myanmar's democracy is its internal matter. There is a popularly elected government in place. India has stopped talking about democracy in Myanmar, at least on the official level. How does that worry Suu Kyi? And is she not really optimistic about democracy? Is this not genuine democracy that is coming in Myanmar? It's a huge debate. Has she changed her stance? Is she believing that yes, genuine democracy is coming into her country?
Well, Akash, she certainly toned down the way she puts it. If you just heard that interview where she was speaking exclusively to us, she said that it's the responsibility of the people in Myanmar themselves to push for what they value. And if they value democracy, then they should themselves try to push it forward and let it progress. She said that nowhere in the world does democracy or anything that people aspire progresses on its own. Her disappointment with India perhaps is with regards to the fact clearly that India did engage with the junta when it was in power, but she feels that the responsibility to push for democracy and make the world engage with the democratic forces is something that they have to do internally. So clearly it is perhaps the fact that the democracy there is growing, that people like Aung San Suu Kyi themselves are becoming powerful, that she's speaking like this.
Okay, so the Indian government obviously doing a very tightrope walk, but even when Prime Minister Manmohan Singh had visited Myanmar just a few months ago, he made it amply clear that he met the military backers of the civilian government, but also met Aung San Suu Kyi, trying to balance it out. Very delicate tightrope walk, at least for India as far as Myanmar is concerned. Maha, many thanks for getting us that update.